Ron Howard's story began on March 1st, 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma, into a family already deeply connected to the world of entertainment. His parents, actor Rance Howard and actress Jean Spiegel, introduced Ron to the film industry before he could even walk. By just 18 months old, he made his first appearance in Frontier Woman, unknowingly stepping into a lifelong commitment to acting. The Howard family moved to California in the late 1950s, chasing the bright lights of Hollywood. Ron's childhood became an early introduction to the unique world of show business. As his father juggled military duties and auditions, Ron was memorizing lines instead of playing with other children. It was a life surrounded by creativity, yet one that often felt isolating. Ron later described his childhood as a golden cage, safe but not entirely his own, trapped behind the pressures of expectations he didn't choose. Becoming America's son. When Ron was just 6 years old, everything changed. On October 3rd, 1960, the Andy Griffith Show premiered, and Ron stepped into the role of Opie Taylor, the epitome of innocent American youth. To the public, he became an idealized version of childhood, loved by the nation. But behind the scenes, Ron's world was anything but ordinary. His schooling took place in a small room near Stage 40 at Desilu Studios, and he spent his breaks studying instead of playing with friends. His father, Rance, fought to protect him from the pressures of fame, guiding him to always be honest in his performance and not rely on cuteness. While this advice shaped his artistic identity, it couldn't shield him from the emotional toll of being seen as America's son, yet never truly having the chance to be his own person. The hidden cost of fame. By the time the Andy Griffith Show ended in 1968, Ron Howard was 14 but emotionally far older. He had spent 8 seasons playing Opie Taylor in a fictional world, cared for by beloved adults, but unable to experience the freedom that many teenagers take for granted. His schooling was split between real classrooms and hurried tutoring sessions on set. Ron ate lunch with adults, Andy Griffith, Don Knotts, and the props crew, never getting to experience the camaraderie of children his own age. These years were formative but marked by loneliness. During the filming of The Music Man in 1962, a young Ron was terrified of not being able to master a complicated dance routine. He confessed his fears to Shirley Jones, who reassured him. To the audience, it was a perfect performance. But Ron's secret anxiety became an ongoing part of his life, shaping his adult persona, where confidence often masked deep-seated insecurities. The struggles of youth and growth. As Ron entered his late teens, the public continued to see only his success. In 1974, at 19, he landed the role of Richie Cunningham on Happy Days, a character that would define him for another generation. Richie was the quintessential boy next door, the wholesome teen America adored. But while the world loved Richie, Ron felt trapped in the role. The show was popular, but it also felt disconnected from the real world. At 23, Ron yearned for more. The nation was going through a period of profound change. Vietnam, shifting youth culture, but Richie Cunningham remained untouched by these realities. Ron, feeling suffocated by the role, even wrote a memo to the producers asking for a storyline addressing the war. The request was rejected, and the frustration pushed him to the realization that acting alone could no longer define him. He needed to take control of his career, and that meant stepping behind the camera. A life-changing decision. In 1977, Ron Howard found his escape. Roger Corman, the king of low-budget films, offered him a deal that seemed too good to pass up, star in Eat My Dust, and he could direct his own film. Ron embraced the opportunity not for fame, but for creative freedom. This led to Grand Theft Auto, a chaotic car chase comedy he co-wrote with his father, Rance. The film was made on a modest budget of $62,000 and earned $15 million at the box office. For the first time, Ron felt in control of his creative destiny. This sense of creative freedom would fuel his career for decades, but it also came with a heavy burden. As his success grew, so did the expectations. With each hit film, Night Shift, 1982, Splash, 1984, Cocoon, 1985, and Willow, 1988, the pressure to perform became more intense, and Ron found himself constantly striving to meet the high expectations of Hollywood. The perils of perfectionism. By the 1990s, Ron Howard had firmly established himself as a top-tier director, known for his attention to detail and his unyielding commitment to perfection. But this drive for perfection came at a cost. In 1995, Ron directed Apollo 13, a film that required exacting precision, including 612 zero-gravity sequences filmed on NASA's Vomit Comet. For 90 consecutive days, Ron worked 18-hour days, pushing himself to the limit. The pressure was immense, and his body finally gave out. He collapsed on set due to severe dehydration and hypertension. The production was halted for 36 hours, but when he returned, the entire crew wore T-shirts that read "Mission Control," a tribute to his leadership. Ron realized that his obsession with perfection had crossed a dangerous line, and that realization would haunt him for years, not just because of the toll it took on him, but because of how it affected the people he loved most. The regret of missing milestones. Despite all of Ron Howard's achievements, the one thing that weighs most heavily on him is the time he lost with his family. In 1991, when his daughter Jocelyn was born, Ron was in Ireland filming Far and Away. He made the decision to stay for the 6-month shoot, leaving his wife Cheryl to raise their newborn twins and young daughter Bryce on her own. When he returned home, he was shocked by the emotional distance that had developed between him and his children. Jocelyn didn't recognize him, and Bryce barely reacted. Cheryl was exhausted, and Ron realized that his career success had come at the cost of his family life. In 2025, Ron admitted that this was a turning point for him, and he promised never to let his career take him away from his family again. Yet the demands of his profession were never far behind, and this cycle would repeat itself years later during the reshoots of Cinderella Man in 2005. Facing the fear of losing family. For much of his life, Ron Howard found strength in his relationship with his younger brother Clint Howard, a fellow actor who also navigated the world of Hollywood. Clint, known for his quirky roles in Star Trek and Apollo 13, was more than just a brother to Ron. He was his confidant and partner in a shared childhood experience that no one else could understand. But Clint's life took a darker turn in the 1980s when he battled addiction. Ron, devastated by this, issued an ultimatum in 1990: get help or lose the relationship forever. Clint chose rehab, and by 2021 the brothers had shared their story in the memoir The Boys, crediting honesty and love for saving Clint's life. Now, years later, Clint's health is failing again, and Ron faces a fear he cannot control. Clint has been diagnosed with a debilitating condition, and Ron, unable to fix the situation, is forced to confront the terrifying reality of losing the one person who has been by his side through it all, the heartbreak of facing his own fragility. As Clint's condition worsens, Ron Howard finds himself confronting a painful truth. He is no longer in control. He has spent his entire life as a director, shaping narratives and controlling outcomes, but now he is powerless to help the brother he loves. In recent interviews, Ron confessed that this chapter of his life has shaken him more deeply than any career failure or setback. He revealed that the guilt of missing signs of Clint's struggle weighs heavily on him. and he regrets not stepping in sooner. Ron's realization that he had been running from his own fragility, focusing so intensely on career and perfection, has led him to make significant changes. He has stepped back from long projects, prioritizing time with his family. He no longer allows his schedule to dictate his life. At 71, with a legacy worth $200 million, Ron is finally learning that the greatest achievements mean little if the people you love are slipping away.